Sunday. We are jumping into our Sunday stock talk, and today we're going to go over Big Bear AI as well as Rigetti. There's a few really good earnings coming out this week, and Big Bear is reporting. So let's jump right in to the Sunday stock talk. We also here, as you can see, I got this pink bracelet on my, on my wrist. I have a pink bracelet because we just went to the fairground. So that was a fun thing for the Sunday afternoon. Hopefully you guys are having a great Sunday afternoon, having a good time. I see some comments there. Thanks for tuning in. Dr. Joshua Holcomb, thanks for tuning in, Josh. And Kofi, thanks for tuning in. Let's jump in. So we did a video earlier on CTM stock today. We're going to jump in though here to Big Bear AI. So Big Bear AI is reporting earnings tomorrow. We have our earnings dropping here. They just dropped inside of Stockmates, and it looks like our earnings that we're watching, top earnings after hours tomorrow, you got Big Bear AI along with Nuclear Oklo, and then also we have ASTS reporting earnings after hours tomorrow, along with Archer Aviation. So, some big earnings. And then you got Rigetti stock reporting earnings there on Tuesday, along with CoreWeave. So it's a big week. We're going to be watching very closely to kind of get a good understanding of where the direction is, especially for Big Bear. So Big Bear, with after hours earnings coming in on Monday, we'll definitely be watching closely. And if you guys want to tune in, we will be having a live session tomorrow. But at Market Open, we're having a live session. Our next live session is happening in 11 hours. If you want to join us there at Market Open, you can join Stockmate, get these companies along with the earnings for all of the targets for all these companies as well every week, and join our daily live trading. So again, it's the second link in the description. If you haven't got a chance to take a look at Stockmates, I would encourage you, simply take a look. Second link down below. So we're jumping into Big Bear, and we've seen it start to make this move here. I see in the comment you got Robin's excited for tomorrow's trades and the daily live trading, CTM and BBAI. So those are ones we're watching. Ko-Fi says, happy about CTM. Now we got to see how the market reacts exactly. And Sal G says, is Will off the CTM train? No, my friend, we did a video earlier today, actually. If you didn't catch it, let me drop a link there for you so you can go ahead and not miss that video. So we just did a video earlier today. We've been following CTM for a while, and really there's not a lot of hype happening there. But anyway, just shot the link over in the live chat for you in case you missed that analysis. So Big Bear AI, highly anticipated earnings. There's a comment there from Aaron Johnson. He says Big Bear is highly anticipated. So there's this joke where, every week or so when we have our earnings targets come out, some days get a highly anticipated tag, this sticker right here. Not always do we have the highly anticipated sticker, but this week with Big Bear AI, we got the highly anticipated sticker. Let's jump into it. So they've been running from about $1 a share in November up to about $10 a share by February of 2025. That was their high, $10 a share. They sold off with the greater market in a trend down until about April, for which is where they found their support and continued to recover. Now we saw them recover as high as $8 a share recently by July. Now, for just prefacing, I got long-term holds at about $2.80 average on Big Bear AI, so I hold the company long-term. I also have some calls on the company as well. We ran a sale recently that was exciting, that was for Stockmate, where if it hits $8 a share, Big Bear AI, or $9 a share, excuse me, you get Stockmate for free, which we have paid out Stockmate, which is really cool. And so anyway, not only do I have calls for that, but also for my own long-term investments. And so we saw it start to consolidate. It shot up to $8.72. Then it sold down here to $6, shot back up to 8.75, sold back down to $6 a share, found its support, and now it's trying to make this run. And we've been trading it, from off and on. We traded it on Friday actually when it made this run, and we're looking now for continuation in this trend, really for it to kind of get up into these levels again. So up into this $8 price point, it's about a $10 margin for profit. Now, before we get into more of the levels and the risk and kind of where the chart is at and where we can see this going, let's take a look at what we've seen come out this week. And you got Big Daddy Buyer says, what is your prediction price for the end of the year for Big Bear? I mean, I would imagine that Big Bear is going to be up above $10 by the end of this year. I would imagine that's what we're going to see. And we'll kind of get into it here. But I see Chris here. Hey, Chris, what's going on? Sal, hey, what's going on? Jim says, Will, do you mind hitting data centers tonight for updates you may know about? Yeah, we could take a look. Let's get through Big Bear. So again, this is the margin for profit we're kind of looking for. It does have this previous resistance level at about $7 a share. If it breaks $7, I mean, this is the earnings call. We're looking for earnings to come in. This is a big time when it could sell off or rocket up in either direction. Now, what we've been watching with them is that they recently have been approaching these earnings. Their market cap's at $2 billion. They recently deployed a lot of their Veriscan technology, this biometrics here. They have partnerships with the Department of Defense, the Pentagon. They're working with Delta, directly with airlines. And based on the news they recently announced, they actually deployed this technology into about, according to reports from them, 12 airports, including Denver International Airport, John F. Kennedy, Los Angeles, you got Montreal. But also, according to an article we found thanks to one of our stockmates on LinkedIn, that they actually confirmed that they had 17 airports. So 17 deployments, not 12 like we see here, more deployments than what they have announced, and they're approaching their earnings. Now, one of the things that we got to watch here is, have they had any big contracts in the last quarter? We didn't see anything come in like that $160 million contract. But what we did see come in is the new deployments of their Veriscan technology, this tech here. Now, one of the articles that was recently published, it's a request for information from the U.S. Department of Homeland Security, where previously the CEO of this company was the acting secretary of the Department of Homeland Security. They came out with this article, this request for information for what could be about a $5.4 billion contract. And they have, the purpose here is for reducing manual labor reliance. So the TSA agents that are questioning, talking to every new person. I know you guys have probably, had to talk with TSA. They're doing biometrics, incorporate AI-driven threat detection and remote screening, and AI and machine learning threat detection for carry-on and check baggage. Now, this is exactly the type of technology right here that TSA is looking for, and that this is a .gov article, right, that they're looking for potential contracts. And Big Bear is positioning themselves to be that company that then is able to, get more contracts, more deployments here will allow them to be that main player. Which, why is that a big deal? Well, they're approaching the 2028. You got the Olympics, you got the World Cup is coming up here in North America. So that's why you see this happen. Now, with their earnings in the past few quarters, they've been coming in around $30 million to $40 million per quarter in revenue. They recently dipped down a little bit to 34 million in the last quarter. So big time right now because they got these earnings coming up tomorrow after hours. Can they come in with that $50 million in revenue? They come in with $50 million in revenue, or 45 million, or they see an increase in revenue. And tomorrow, when the market closes and they hop on their earnings call and the CEO or whoever is talking and they say that their revenue is up and they give a rundown of some of the values of these contracts for the deployment of the very scanned biometric AI here, then their assets hold high without increasing their liabilities. This is absolutely the type of institutional attracting value that we could see things go very, very well. We're talking about, minimum about 10-11%. Really what we'd be targeting is that $8.50 to $9 range, about a 20% potential swing there with Big Bear on Monday. Now, two things working against Big Bear though, and this is what could not go good. The first thing, and there's really three things, but the first thing is that they have a pretty large amount of institutional holdings. So Chris says, been above level for 3 months. We're in a good place. It's true. They're holding at a good level. And I see what you mean with that holding above the consolidation. But institutional ownership is high. So they're 44% institutionally owned. So you have AE Industrials, BlackRock, State Street, what have you, Goldman Sachs. When they approach these earnings, the first thing that could be not good, one of these institutions doesn't like the numbers and they sell off. I mean, that one institutional partner, it's still a $2 billion market cap. If one of these companies sizes down their position, we're immediately going to see a big dip, right? So that's the first thing. The second thing that could happen here is they don't come in with the earnings that you would expect. They don't hit that $40 million to $50 million in revenue. They don't show signs of growth in revenue, and the net income is still kind of negative a little bit there. They come in with the same or less in revenue, we're definitely probably going to see a sell-off here. Could be 15%, 20% sell-offs if they don't hold true. Now, based on what we're seeing from the company and the different contracts they've accumulated over the last year, most likely we'll see this trend continue since 2020. Since 2020, they've increased revenue in 2021, increased in 2022, just a hair increased in 2023, and increased revenue in 2024. They are increasing year over year. So in theory, they should come in over about $40 to $50 million in revenue. So that's what we're going to watch. So again, when we're watching the levels here for their earnings tomorrow after hours, we're going to look for this support here at about $7 that it holds and that they're able to maybe validate it. They come in with good earnings. We're looking for a move here, about 10 to 20% margins for profit. Would hold. There's a support at $7. There's also a support there at $6.70, $6.65 that would be worth watching because this could be an opportunity if they sell down to add to a position. So that's what's going on with Big Bear. Now, the second stock we're looking at here that has earnings tomorrow is Rigetti stock. Rigetti stock is our quantum pick. So just to review, any questions before we move on? How many of you guys feel kind of, in the know right now about what we're potentially looking at with Big Bear? And is there anything right now that you're saying, oh, Will, I don't know about this? Or you're saying, yes, I'm excited. Let's play it however. And let's, short term, if we're in a short term trade, maybe we don't go so big right before earnings. Probably not the best time to go huge on Big Bear because it's a time when, we could see a spike. We could equally see some risk here right now. EB says, what time is the Big Bear AI earnings call? That's a good question. Let me get that for you. So we'll jump in. Let me just jump straight to their news because they got their earnings coming out here. And let's take a look at what they got scheduled. 4:30 p.m. Eastern, so about 30 minutes after market close. there. Tomorrow, 30 minutes after market close on BBAI, there will be an earnings call, and we will definitely be going live for that. You got Johnny says definitely in the know. You have a plan either way. You got short-term and long-term positions on Big Bear. There you go. So Johnny's feeling confident no matter what. He's got things going. Pereira says, do you think BBAI can pump to 750 at market open? Yeah, I mean, it's just right around 750. It wouldn't be crazy to see that. Could also sell off. I mean, what we got to watch is we saw some accumulation on Friday. So accumulation right here. It's possible that cycle continues and we see accumulation kick in Monday. But what we could see is pre-market or watching the London session really is what we should watch and see if there's any manipulation. If we see big spikes, big sell-offs happening pre-market, a lot of times that's going to be followed by distribution. So maybe we see a pullback at market open. You could see a pullback at market open as low as 650, 675, and then maybe it sells down here before making this move tomorrow, and it could make a move like that. Or if it sells off, then earnings kicks in and it sells and it dips even further down to 6. All we could do is really have a plan for the short term. So if it dips here, most likely we would enter, we'd have a stop, we'd be looking to maybe capitalize on the volatility. It's going to depend how it kind of happens at market open and what levels we're watching when the market opens tomorrow morning. And again, if you guys want to join us there for a limited time, you can get lifetime access to our daily live sessions we have at market open Monday through Friday. If you've ever wanted to really dial in your research, your analysis, and get better results and grow investing in AI, quantum, space tech, or really we're looking at a lot of markets recently, robotics, data centers, energy, nuclear even, but the main focus in AI markets right now, then I would encourage you, check out StockMate. We got the targets for this week. It's the second link down below. It's a limited time that we have that access to lifetime access, because again, you get our live sessions, and I would love to send you a free t-shirt as well. You get a free t-shirt when you join StockMate anywhere in the world. So you see bullish on Rigetti and BBAI. So Keith says, I'm joining this group. I'm excited for you, Keith. EB says, we're going live. Awesome. Jim says, do you have any $10 calls on BBAI? I do not. I believe I was thinking we had, let's see, BBAI. The calls I have on BBAI right now, $7. I sold some puts on BBAI, so a conservative way to have the option to buy them back at $7.50, but I got some premiums there, and then also it looks like it pushed up there, and then I got some calls there for later this week at $8 calls there as well. That's what's going on there, and those are up right now. Anything else here? Big Bear to the moon, Saul says. Hey, let's go. Appreciate you, Saul, and we'll have to see. Never seen a big, I know there's been humans on the moon, but a bear on the moon, McPhee says BBAI before open. Yep, we'll be watching it there. Okay, so let's jump into the next one. I appreciate you all. Rigetti stock, RGTI, Jim Jam says. So again, earnings Tuesday after hours, you got CoreWeave and you have Rigetti stock. So Rigetti stock is reporting earnings. Rigetti is a quantum computing company that specializes in the generation of computing here. These are called QPUs, not GPUs, not CPUs, but QPUs. They build the quantum hardware, they build the quantum software, and they are focusing right now on error correction. And it even is very closely correlated with Microsoft. Not only does it look like Microsoft developed a chip for Rigetti, but with their earnings coming up, we're also going to see, is Rigetti generating more revenue from their cloud because you can use Rigetti now through the cloud here on, this is Microsoft Azure. You can also find Rigetti AWS. So they have AWS, I think it's AWS Rigetti Computing. So Amazon is allowing you to tap into Rigetti here through the cloud. Here, the Rigetti quantum computing. And essentially, where they're going right now is they have their earnings coming out. And they've really been hovering around about $5 billion market cap with earnings that haven't showed signs of really bullish momentum. Quarterly, it's been volatile. Their revenue's been around 3 million. They came in with about 2 million. Net income was $42 million positive in their last quarter because of some investments that they got. Their balance sheet looks really good. They got lots of cash. Cash is up to 270 million with their total liabilities at 62. Now, ahead of the earnings, kind of the same risk here as what we were talking about with Big Bear. Institutional ownership isn't quite as high, but they're around 30%. But they've seen a lot more increased positions than decreased positions, which you guys may know. That means that essentially BlackRock, Vanguard, State Street, or Goldman Sachs, Bank of America, they're buying this quantum computing company without, closing their position. They're wanting to buy more. So aside from Big Bear having really big earnings and a lot of momentum potentially into these earnings, we're also looking at the financials here and saying, can Rigetti come in and really show why they're a top quantum company? They come in with some good earnings here. They got some room to run. So I'm going to run over to the quantum AI list that we got built here. Now, when we trade Rigetti, sometimes we trade RGTX. So RGTX is going to be the 2x of Rigetti. So this quantum stock, Rigetti, which you can see here, we're going to go over the levels here. They also, if they go up 1%, RGTX goes up 2%. And if they go down 1%, RGTX goes down 2%. So it's higher risk, but it's definitely one that is worth watching, because if there's a short-term play, we potentially would open up maybe at market open, something like that tomorrow or after hours, then we might potentially use RGTX for that short-term volatility. Now, Rigetti, I've been covering it since about November or October. I was able to meet some of their executives, and also since then, it was $1 a share. We started covering it. I do have some long-term positions here. They're up to about $20, $21 a share by January. Shortly after, the CEO of NVIDIA says, oh yeah, quantum computing. How many of you guys saw that announcement and were freaking out when this happened? I know we were, just for a minute there, but man, when you have a CEO come out, NVIDIA, say, quantum computing's 15 or 30 years away, and the whole market dipped, everybody sold off, it sold down as low as $5.50. Not a week later, NVIDIA says, we are now opening up our quantum division of our company. Now, what is it? So you got restored confidence. Then you have more potential growth. You get more partnerships, more outside funding coming in. What's going on? Well, they recover up to $16 by January, kind of sell back down with the greater market through February, March, April. Since April, they've recovered, and they're now at a previous resistance. They've pulled up from $6 to $17 a share. Previous resistance here is about $15 a share. So they're at this previous resistance. They're trying to keep this overall uptrend in action. And essentially, if they're going to keep, let's say this is the earnings, they get some spikes. We see them get up in the previous highs. When they run big. It's possible they sell down too. Right now, though, what we'd watch for a bullish outlook would be this move, about a 27% increase up into this $20 range. That's where they would be targeting on more of a hyper bull trend for Rigetti. I see some good comments here. So Rigetti channel support about 1425, McPhee says. 1425. Let's see. 1425. There is a support there for sure. So let's take a look. You got a previous consolidation. You got a resistance level at 1425 right here, and then you got that support area right here, this range right here about 1425. So if they can't hold this $15 range, the next support is down around, you're right, 1425, $14 a share, somewhere in here. And that's really a conservative approach. Not too bad. I don't recommend anybody hold through earnings, because we could see this move, just as quickly as we could see it go up. Holding long-term positions, not the best deal, or the best deal to do is hold long-term positions or add when things dip. But when it's short-term, you're trading it, you want to have a plan and most likely not hold through earnings. You want to see the direction that happened after the earnings and then make a decision on the trade. That's usually how we'll do it. And so there could be a 10% sell down to $14 a share. That would be kind of conservative and it holding to its trend. Or we see it continue its momentum here. This is the bull trend that we could see play out. Continue the momentum up into these highs and make that 10 here to 20% increase. Now, if that's the case, we might trade RGTX. That could be a 20 to 40% upside potential for tomorrow after hours. So we got to watch, see how they react at market open, and also see the greater market direction tomorrow. Q's family says BBAI, no matter what happens, long-term is where it's at. Okay. Yeah, I mean, that's the move, long-term continuing to buy the dip. The short-term swings are where we've been able to make a killing. Even on Rigetti, we're up about 50% on a recent trade. APLD data centers were up because of those shorter term plays. So it's good to look at the shorter term plays, but it's not good to really make big allocations for short term trades right around earnings. Just telling you guys, I don't normally do that. It's not something I would encourage anybody to do there. So then you got Moheen says, how is it going? How's it going, Moheen? Aaron Johnson says, BBAI reminds me of Veritone, reported decent earnings. Got it. Okay. Take a look there, Aaron, and appreciate you. Yeah, thanks for tuning in. So, what about the next kind of play that we're looking at? The other company that we got reporting earnings, let's take a look at it, is AST. Space Mobile is reporting tomorrow. Now, ASTS, so again, Rigetti's Tuesday after hours. That quantum company, Rigetti, is Tuesday after hours. Monday after hours is Big Bear AI. So we'll be tuned in for both those. Definitely will be watching them. And definitely we'll be watching Big Bear tomorrow morning at market open, seeing how it dips. So if you guys want to join us there, again, I would encourage you to simply have a look at that second link below for Stockmates, because we're going live tomorrow morning. We'll have an even better pulse there on how Big Bear's direction is looking ahead of earnings. ASTS, Space Mobile, and Archer. But ASTS, this is a company, back when I was doing some work in Boulder as a financial consultant, my good friend was working at a company. Now he works at Rocket Lab, but he was working with ASTS. And he was saying, man, ASTS is a good play. It's a good play. And we were actually taking call options on this company back around, believe it or not, around $3 a share. Now, if I go over, let's rocket over to our space watch list and let's take a look here at ASTS. They're at $46 a share right now. They've been kind of overbought, and so this is actually an earnings that could potentially really correct them down into this $38 price point. So let's take a look. They're a company that does 5G cellular broadbands, and if you picture, you can see it on my screen, there is this satellite here, and it basically opens up from a small box into a big platform of 5G cellular broadband connectivity, and there's satellites that are able to connect to phones. Now they've been launching and they've been getting their satellites up into space, and they partnered recently. So let's take a look at the financials. They got a $15 billion market cap. They're getting up there. Part of the reason why they've partnered um, with AT&T. Okay, they've partnered with AT&T. They've partnered with, I want to say it's Verizon. Let's take a look at their strategic partners. AT&T, yep, AT&T, Verizon they're partnered with, Vodafone, Rakuten, Bell, Canada, American Tower. I mean, they are partnering with these companies, and it's kind of like imagine Xfinity decided, you know what, we need to get better, and they partnered with Starlink. I mean, that would be a big deal, right? Well, Starlink is that AST is that Starlink company. They have those satellites and they do direct to cellular devices in 5G from satellites, which is tremendously convenient for companies like AT&T or Verizon there. So what they have going on, they're at $45 a share. PE ratio is high, which means they could be overvalued. Their net income has been negative. They have not broke about $2 million in a quarter. And their negative net income has been pretty significant. Their revenue is up year over year, about 40%, but their balance sheet is also looking like it's growing in annual assets. You got the assets increasing up to about $1 billion, and their total liabilities down around 285, or actually they've gone up since then. So they're over $1 billion in assets with 600 million. Essentially, the levels we're watching is this sell down. Could it continue to maybe trend upwards, and this is its new trend, something like this, and we see it kind of recover and maybe make this run and get up into these levels, and we see it recover back up into that $50 to $60 range? It's possible. But what I would more than likely expect, now we could see that happen. They come in with $1 billion in revenue quarter, 30% swing up to $62. We could see it, something like this for sure. But they've had negative net income, and we've kind of been watching them. I'm kind of like I said, I was introduced to them around $3 a share. So I've seen this company on the highs and the lows, and they're up there right now. So I would actually more conservatively kind of look for a sell down on ASTS. I know they got earnings coming up on Tuesday, but probably looking at this $38 price point, somewhere in this $40 price point would be more accurate for their valuation. That previous resistance there most likely would act as a support. The other thing to note, just something that oftentimes happens, when we're bullish and we're holding above this 200-day moving average, this green line, and we're really bullish, it's pushing up. If we cross below, it's usually not looking too good. I mean, we recently crossed below in that green line. It's been acting as a resistance. See them selling down, selling down. So they're kind of in this direction. Like maybe they pull up to that $50 price point momentarily. But right now, if you look at the trend, it looks something like this. You got this downtrend, resistance, resistance since July. And then you got this support here. It's kind of downtrending there on ASTS. So maybe, yeah, momentarily we could see something like that where it pulls up in that, $50 price point. It's about an 8% swing. We could see something like that around earnings maybe. But really, it's trading a downtrend, a little higher risk. Most likely, we're looking at more of a sell down to this, $40 range, about a 15 to 20% downside there. So a little higher risk than what we normally go for. Marty Clark says, looks like CTM is going up overnight. So CTM is maybe off to a good start there. Let's take a look, Marty. We just covered it earlier today, actually, and we were quite bullish on it. Ended up acquiring some more shares. Yep, they're up to $1.30. So they're making some runs right now. Very nice. So we'll be watching more space companies. The other request we had here was the data centers. Wanted to take a look at APLD. So APLD already came in with earnings. They announced that $9 or $7 billion contract. So they're a data center company, right? Is actually going to be more like 9 to 11 million or 11 billion. And so they're holding this direction. Data centers power AI, and AI is growing fast. And when you're investing in the infrastructure that makes up AI, there's a lot of upside. APLD, they build these data centers for NVIDIA and Dell and CoreWeave, and they are the constructions. They build the actual construction. And when they do it, a lot of times what they do, and we'll go over the targets here, but basically they're seeing more institutional investing in investors because they choose these locations for data centers that are like very, very strategic. So they'll, for example, build near wind turbines, or they'll build near solar or hydroelectric, or they'll build it in a really cold part of the US. You see Apple building in Michigan, or you see uh, more companies, in this case, North Dakota. I mean, what's going on in North Dakota? Most likely they're looking for the cold. And so you see them working with Dell and Intel, Hewlett Packard, Supermicrocomputer. And so most likely we're going to see them have some good growth. The financials have looked pretty good. They saw a little bit of declining revenue there in the last quarter, but annually they're increasing. Net income a little high. Balance sheet looked good though, with their assets rising to almost 2 billion with liabilities about 1.2, which a little bit high on the liabilities, but they're like a construction company as well. So I'm not surprised that the liabilities are a little bit high, but nothing to be worried about. They're a $3.7 billion market cap. So most likely, this is the type of company we could see get up. They've already been there before, $5-10 billion market cap long term. It's the near term where we're looking with this volatility. There's a support level about $14 a share, and we're going to see if they can hold it. They're about $14.25 right now. They're actually trying to make this run up into this level of about $25 a share. There's not much resistance, maybe a little resistance there around 16, about 10% up from here. But they're looking really to make this, 50% to 100% swing up into this $20 to $30 range. And that's really what we've seen. So they've been running up the past few weeks. We were able to actually trade this last week. You can see we got an open position there about 50% up, which is absolutely more than most years. This year, we've had a tremendous amount of opportunities we've been able to identify in AI and data centers and things like that. And so it's just a matter of taking advantage of those opportunities. I think it was one of our perfect trades we had this year. And you guys saw it too. I think a lot of people caught this trade on APLD because we were looking at it. It was right here. It was out of support. It was rising. And we said they got some things coming up. And not only did we buy, we had a pretty tight stop loss. It didn't even touch it. It continued to roar up to $15 a share. I mean, those are the types of moves we look forward to catching, and it's really fortunate we got to all kind of get that move. So really exciting stuff. Johnny says, will you be live for the earnings call? Yes, we will. And we're going to be tying up. We're going to be wrapping up the session here, guys, on this Sunday afternoon. Thanks so much for tuning in. There's some good comments there. We got to go over the top AI companies. We got to go over the quantum stocks that were watching earnings this week. And we'll be tuned in for Big Bear earnings tomorrow. And again, if you want to join us in our daily live trading session, I would encourage you to check Stockmate. Huge sale there. It's not getting better than this. Second link in the description down below to join Stockmate. Also, if you do want to smash the like button, hit that like button if I earned it. Do consider subscribing, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Thanks for tuning in. Appreciate you all. Thanks, Aaron, Johnny, Simply, McPhee. Thanks, Michael, for tuning in. Kate, appreciate you. Marty Clark. Kate, I saw your email there about the software. I'll get back to you in just a few. Really appreciate those questions you sent over. Q's, thanks for tuning in. McPhee again, and Divyang, thanks for tuning in. Appreciate you all. And I'll see you in the next video. Thanks, Freddie. Appreciate you. See you in the next one. Take care, guys. Have a good rest of your Sunday night. I'll see you tomorrow morning. Oh, friendly reminder, we're also sending out a coffee cup Maybe I can go grab it. Should I go grab it real quick? Let me show you it. Okay. So so we're kind of wrapped up. You guys want to you leave, you can leave, go ahead, have a good day. But anyway, this coffee cup, I wanted to show you it. We're sending it out to our top Stockmate members. Okay, so we got our top 3 members here. Lawrence, who came in with some good articles. By the way, Lawrence, thanks for tuning in. He sent over a new contract updates for CTM. The type of information, did you know that we have over 24 millionaires inside of Stockmate? I actually call every single Stockmate member when they join, and Lawrence, he comes in with this really good info. He gets the contracts and he brings them. I'll tell you, most of the great information we have here on the YouTube is going to be as a result of a lot of the members in here. And so I just appreciate that. But anyway, this cup right here, we send to our top 3 members. And we just got it, and I'm excited to have my coffee in it tomorrow morning. So it's got the Stockmate M logo right here. And then it has the profit plan. So I can put my stop loss, or I can put my my take profit on my cup of coffee with an expo, and I can put it on the white here, and I set it down with my coffee, or I drink my coffee. I might be drinking my coffee in the morning, and I can see my trade that I'm taking for the day on my cup. Isn't that cool? It's also got some really nice words of wisdom to keep you going through the day. Different definitions of success. Everybody has different definitions. Maybe your definition of success is making money. But I believe, that making money is the result of success. And success is your progress towards, a goal. And so, for example, having a plan equals success. We say your progress equals success. As long as you're making progress, you are a success. Managing emotions equals success. Locking in the profits is a success. So anyway, wanted to share that with you guys. Hopefully you guys enjoy this cup. We're sending out top 3 members. So if you want a chance to get it, again, you can always go to the second link down below for Stockmate and have a chance to get that cup sent over to you. Thanks so much for tuning in. I appreciate you all. I hope you have a great rest of your Sunday, and I'll see you in the next one. Take care.